to work at a big name factory, it was almost like a dream. And I remember, oh my God, if I could get that job. So I went and got an application. And the truth is, I could barely read and write. Now, I didn't stay there, okay? People think, well, the guy could barely read and write. I didn't stay there. I've well educated myself. I've spoken at Harvard, Notre Dame, USC, Pepperdine, some of the biggest universities in the country. So I didn't stay there. I always want to remind people that I didn't stay as a janitor. I'm self-educated, even though I don't have an education. So I got the application, and I asked him if I could bring it back tomorrow. And he said, yeah. So I took it home, and I had my wife, Judy, who's been my inspiration. I have such respect for women because of my grandma, my mom, and my wife. So Judy fills it out, and it's pretty cool because I take it back to the next day, and I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous, and I show it to him, and he's looking at it, and then he just stares at me. He looks at it, and he stares at me, and he said, "Did you fill this out?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "You have nice handwriting." I've been stealing Judy's credit ever since. So he said, you get the job on the spot. And I was really excited, and I thank God for many things in '77. One thing in particular is they didn't do background checks in those days. You got hired. Now, I tell people I didn't have nothing bad to hide, but just nothing good to show. I had gotten in some trouble as a young man. So I was 18, and the plant was pretty close to the labor camp, which is incredible. So I wanted to reach my dad and my grandpa and tell them that the good news that I got the job. Because I was making like $1.65 an hour, and I went to $3.50 an hour, something like that. I don't remember, but it was over double my pay.
And what were you doing before? You were doing some kind of like seasonal migrant labor. What was it?
No, I was at a car wash.
Oh, you were at a car
wash. He was killing chickens.
Yeah. And so you moved from seasonal migrant labor and then to kind of odd jobs into a car wash, and then you got a job with one of the biggest companies in the country at the time, right?
Yeah, at Frito-Lay. Now, was that the one in Plano, Texas?
No. That's Plano, Texas is headquarters. This was in Rancho Cucamonga, Southern California.
Oh shit, we know Rancho.
Oh yeah, we know Rancho.
Rancho?
Yeah, dude. I moved from Los Angeles. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Ontario Airport, that was the labor camp.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys know this, but here's some good history for you. Back in the 30s, Segundo Guasti came from Italy, and he created the wine industry in Southern Cal. And where I lived, it was actually the world's biggest wine producing area in the country. It was bigger than Napa Valley. But what happened in the early 70s, the wine growers got more selling their land to developers than they did producing wine. Now, if you're ever in the area, you can still see some of the skeletons of the wineries, and they're more like villas. They're replicas of, what happened in Italy.
Right.
The guy was a good, I never met him, of course, but, way before my time, but, he built a school, he built a church, he built a grocery store. He tried to take care of his workers. So, but that's kind of the history on there.
And so when you get this job, you're excited to go tell all your relatives that you have it and everything else. What did you initially start off doing at Frito-Lay? It was the janitor position, right? In '77?
Yeah, I was a janitor, and when I told my grandfather, he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm the janitor." And he said something to me that changed my life. And I believe it's the reason for my success today. He said, "When you mop that floor, you make sure that it shines, and when people see it, they know that a Montañez mopped it." So I took that on. I was like, I'm going to make this floor shine so people will ask,
Right.
And I did. I saw that it was pretty incredible. Even as a young man without a formal education or even the type of mentoring, you have to understand where we come from. I didn't have a bank account till, several years. I didn't know how to write a check. I didn't know how to do the basic things that, most people would probably take for granted. My dad and my grandpa were my mentors, but they mentored me on how to work hard and sweat. And that was it. So I saw that, I was cleaning the bathrooms, the break rooms, and the manager's office, and I saw that I had an influence. people were smiling. People were starting to ask, hey, who cleaned the restroom? It smells so good. And I realized that I could influence people without even saying a word, strictly just by my work ethic. So,
yeah, it's hard for people to.
There.
It's really hard for people just to sit around and do nothing when somebody else is busting their ass. Honestly, like you set the tone that way. We talk about that all the time.
I literally just did a show earlier about work ethic and how much it is missing in today's society because they don't take pride in their work. No matter what it is. Like you were saying, your father was saying, make sure that is the best looking floor they've ever seen. Like no matter what job you have.
Like you're above some kind of work.
Yes.
Like just shut the fuck up and do your job, man.
And take pride in it.
Everybody says like dress for the job you want, but act, and then they act like, well, I mean, I should be doing something else, so I'm not going to put any effort into this. Like you think you're going to get promoted, get somewhere in life by half-assing the job you have because you feel like you're above it? Like get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah. That is a ridiculous way to go through life. And it is a way, that's how losers think, frankly. Yes. You know what I mean? That's how, it's just like you expect shit for free. No, you work.
You work and people see your work, like in your case, Richard. So you were mopping floors?
I try to teach that in the university. I said, don't quit every single job that you get. Stay there and, produce something and, make something happen. I think there's a lot of emphasis on if you're not happy, quit your job. I don't come from that generation. I come from a generation where we work to eat. Yeah. It had nothing to do with being happy. You know that I had keep in mind, I'm old school, so all my bosses were old school. And I remember one time when I wasn't happy, I went to my manager, he's a director, and I said, I'm not happy here. And he said this to me, he looked straight at me and he said, Richard, if my job was to make you happy, instead of giving you a paycheck, I'd give you Disneyland tickets.